Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagreevamupasmahe Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहं यामुनेयं नमामि तं यो नित्यमूर्धव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. Offering my pranamams to everyone assembled here, we'll start the next session. So in the last session, we saw the summary of chapter 16, which is the Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the Geetaartha Sangraha shloka number 20, where it said, Devasura Vibhagokti Purvika Shastra Vashyata Tatvanusthana Vijnanasthemne Shodasha Uchyate. So that was the summary of the 16th chapter, which is Daiva Asura, means the divine and the demonic nature. So that's what Krishna gives the differences between those two in that chapter. Now we go to 17th chapter, which is Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The general translation of this title is the three types of faith. Shraddha means faith is what we say. But Swami Yamunacharya has given, Bhagavad Ramanuja has given a very special definition of the word Shraddha, which we will see in this particular session. This is also not a big chapter. It has 28 shlokas, which we'll see the Geetaartha Sangraha shloka now, right now. That is Geetaartha Sangraha shloka number 21. Ashastramaasuram kritsnam shastriyam gunatah prathak lakshanam shastra siddhasya tridha saptadashodhitam. Ashastramaasuram kritsnam shastriyam gunatah prathak lakshanam shastra siddhasya tridha saptadashodhitam. The meaning is Kritsnam Ashastram Asuram. What is the meaning? Ashastram, what is not in accordance with the Shastras, is Kritsnam, everything, all the activities which are not ordained, not as ordained in the Shastras, belong to the Asura Swabhava. Kritsnam Ashastram Asuram. So they are useless, they are of no use. If anything, any karma is done in the Ashastriya, means not according to Shastras, then it is not of any use. That's what the first statement says. Then what about the Shastriya karma? Whatever is done according to Shastras, how is it? We'll see. Shastriyam Gunatav Prithak, three types. What are they? Those activities which are ordained in the Shastras based on the three gunas, Sattva, Rajaha and Tamaha, exist in three different ways. And next, Shastra Siddhasya Tridha Lakshanam. For those activities ordained in the Shastras, they are threefold in terms of Om, Tat and Sat. So Krishna tells one shloka in this chapter, Om Tat Saditi Nirdeshaha Brahmanas Trividha Smrataha. That's what he says. So that's what is told in this statement. So whatever is Ashastriya is basically of Asura Swabhava, which is not of any use for any of us. Whatever is Shastriya will get known as into three types, categorized into three types, Satvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. And again, they are threefold in terms of Om, Tat and Sat. So that is the meaning of this shloka. In chapter 17, the following are dealt with. Those which are not ordained in by the Shastras are wholly demonic. what are ordained by the Shastras are varied in accordance with the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and that the characteristics of what are established in the Shastras are threefold in terms of Om, Tat, and Sat. That is the meaning of this particular shloka. Now, let us see descriptions from the Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha and also from Bhagavad Ramanuja Bhashya also in the course of this session. In the Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha, Swami Deshikan gives a not a very short thing, especially he quotes from the Gita Bhashya 17.1 and 17.23, which I will show you in the course of this presentation. Whatever is shown in white in this slide is all from Ramanuja Bhashya. So what Yamunacharya says in the Avtarike, in the invocation, in the preamble to this chapter, chapter 17.1 shloka for the 17.1 shloka is all what is shown here. Devasura vibhagokti mukhena prapya tattva jnanam prapti upaya jnanam cha tat prapti upaya jnanam cha vaidika moolam iti uktam. So he tells about two things. One is tattva jnana and prapti upaya jnana. Tattva is the reality, the nature of the ultimate reality, and the upaya, the means to attain that. So vaidika moolam, devasura vibhagokti mukhena. Bhagavan has taught in the previous chapter in the division of the devas and the asuras, the deva asura vibhaga, that the source of knowledge of reality, the tattva jnana, and that is to be attained, and the knowledge of the means, that is the upaya jnana, is only Vedas. Vaidika moolam iti uktam, that is told. Idanim, now idanim means in the 17th chapter, ashastra vihitasya asuratvena aphalatvam, he says. Now the fact that what is not ordained in the Shastras is asura and does not yield any fruit. Shastra vihitasya cha gunatas traividyam. That's what we saw in the previous, from the Yamunacharya's sloka also. Whatever is in the ordained in the Shastras are of three types based on three qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Shastra siddhasya lakshanam cha uchyate. In the definition of what is established in the Shastras, these are all going to be told in this particular chapter. So first is ashastram sarvam kritsnam aphalam, it's useless. Then shastra vihitasya gunatas traividyam and shastra siddhasya lakshanam cha uchyate. Because Arjuna asks a question in this chapter, which we will see now. Therefore, before that, tatra ashastra vihitasya nishphalatvam ajanan, not being aware of the futility of performing karma in a way opposed to what is told in the Shastras. Ashastra vihite shraddha samyukte yagadau, while performing yaga and other karmas, not as per what is ordained in the Shastra, but with a lot of shraddha. So what Arjuna asks is, I do something called ashastra karma, means I do a karma which is not ordained in the Shastras, but do with a lot of shraddha. Then what will happen? Arjuna asks. Sattvadi nimitta phalabheda bubutsaya Arjuna prachati. Arjuna wants to know the difference in fruits according to sattva, rajas, and tamas in such karmas, and asks this question. Ye shastra vidhi mutsrujya yajante shraddhayanvitaha tesham nisthatu ka krishna tattvamaho rajastamaha. So the meaning is, shastra vidhi mutsrujya, having given up, having transgressed the Shastras, shraddhayanvitaha, they do the karmas with lot of shraddha. Then what happens? Will it be characterized as satvika, sattvamaho, rajastamaha? That's the question which Arjuna asks. Hey Krishna, those who give up the way karmas are ordained in the Shastras perform sacrifices with lot of faith and urgency. Shraddha, I will see the meaning of shraddha in the next coming one or two slides. Tesham nisthaka, what is their position? Are they included in sattva, rajas, or tamas? This is the question which Arjuna asks in the beginning. Now Krishna answers this question in the remaining of this chapter. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Trividha bhavati shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja Satviki, Rajasi chaiva, Tamasi cheti, Tam Shuno. There are three types of Shraddha, he says. There are Satviki, Rajasi, and Tamasi. Now, if we see here, Shraddha hi. What is Shraddha? In the bottom of the page I have written Shraddha. Whatever Yamunacharya has written, I have shown it here. Swabhimatam sadhayati etat iti Vishwasa purvika sadhane tvara. So tvara is the word here for Shraddha. Tvara means sense of urgency. So in sense of urgency in what? The Bhashyakara defines Shraddha as it is tvara, urgency, Vishwasa purvika, combined with faith or belief that this will achieve my desired goal. So why is tvara or urgency needed? If one asks a question, we always tend to have the feeling like that I will do it tomorrow, I will do it after 2 years, I will do it after 60 years, after retirement I will do, and those kind of things all of us will say, right? So that will not be called as Shraddha. It has to be done today. Means if the mind believes that this will achieve my desired goal, if the full faith is there, that should combine immediately into action, that should form into action immediately, then only it is called Shraddha. If it say I will do it in a 5-year plan, if I'll do it in 10-year plan, those kind of things, if somebody says, then that will not be called Shraddha. So tvara, urgency, is very, very important according to Bhashyakara. So this Shraddha, this definition of Shraddha does not come in other Bhashyas. So this is a special definition which Yamunacharya gives. Shraddha is Vishwasa Purvika Sadhane Tvara, means Sadhane Tvara means urgency with respect to the action to be done, the means to be adopted to achieve the goal. So there should not be a delay, there should not be procrastination, there should not be that I will do it tomorrow, day after, that kind of thing. It should be done. I want to do it now, I will do it, I'll start it now. That kind of feeling is what is Shraddha, Tvara. Next, then one question will come. How do I identify myself? See, I am already lived for certain years on this earth, and how do I know which of the gunas is predominant in me? We should know, right? For example, whether I have sattvika predominance or rajasa predominance or tamasa predominance, we should know. So those general predominances come in this chapter. How to identify myself, what I belong, or how to increase. Suppose I have some other predominance and I want to increase sattva guna, then what should I do? Those kind of things also will come. How do I transform myself to sattva guna? So these questions get addressed in this chapter, which we will see. Sattva guna prachuraha satvikataya satvikya shraddhaya yukta devan yajante. Those who have abundance of sattva guna will be endowed with sattvika shraddha, and they worship devas through sacrifices. So that is one characterization. If the person is worshipping devatas in sacrifices, then that is shraddha. So sattvika shraddha is predominant. So sattva guna is predominant. Dukkha sambhinna utkrishta sukha hetu bhuta deva yoga vishaya shraddha sattviki iti uktam bhavati. That means the shraddha in yagas worshipping the host of devatas, which leads to abundant happiness, which is unmixed with sorrow, is sattvika shraddha. If there is some kind of sorrow while experiencing the happiness, then that is not sattvika shraddha. It is unmixed with sorrow. Now to Rajasa. Rajasaha yaksharakshamsi yajante. Those having abundance of Rajasa guna worship yakshas and rakshasas. Anyetu tamasaha janaha pretan bhutaganan yajante. While others who are tamasic in nature perform sacrifices worshipping the pretas. Pretas, the departed spirit, we can say, or the body in which a departed soul is invested, and host of bhutas or ghosts. So depending on whom we are worshipping, that is one level of characterization. We can say whether you are sattvika or tamasa, rajasa or tamasa. Next, Krishna then he tells about ashastra vihitam. What do the person with demonic characteristics do? He tells in the two shlokas, which I will tell you the summary. Those who having dambha is kind of puffed up pride or arrogance, and ahankara is the sense of I feeling, possessed with passion and desire, Kamaraga Balanvitaha, desire. Sharirastham Bhutagramam, the group of 5 elements which is present in the body. Anta Sharirastham cha mam chaiva. And the Jivatman, who is my Amsha, Karshayantaha, causing much stress to them. Ashastra Vihitam, which is opposed to the command of Shastras. Ghoram Tapam Tapyante, do tortuous penance, practice tortuous penance. And because of having impure mind, know them as Asura Swabhava or demonic nature. So if the person experiences lot of bodily trouble in doing that, in whatever thing he is doing, whatever penance or uh, austerity he is doing, then that will become like a demonic nature. If the person should do the Shastriya Karma with lot of pleasure, means with not too much of effort of the body, but it should be done with a pleasurable mind, not with Krishayanta Sharirastham, no, not like that. Next, Krishna tells about 3 types of food, 3 types of tapas, and yajna, tapas, and dana. Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. Again, yajna, tapas, he tells about 6 types, which we'll see some of them. And 3 types of food, jnana, yajna, and dana. So we'll go through the food part with little detail. Krishna tells that there are 3 types of food. What is Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa. But Swami Vedanta Desikan in his Ahara Niyamam, which I have shown you here, tells that there are only 2 types of food. One is ennobling, which is Satvika, and another is Tamasa. So all which is not Satvika, Swami Deshikar calls it as Tamasa itself. Even if it is Rajasa food, it is called Tamasa because it takes us away from what we are supposed to attain. Krishna does not give in the Bhagavad Gita very clear definition of whether some vegetable, some fruit, some grain is Satvika, Rajasa, or Tamasa. But in the Arahara Niyamam book by Swami Deshikan, which you can download from shadagopan.org, you can see and download it. Swami Vedanta Deshikar in 20 Pasharams, in Tamil Pasharams, he lists each and every vegetable which was available in India at that 800 years ago, before the British brought some more vegetables to India. Perhaps if Vedanta Deshikar had been there later, he would have included some later on vegetables also. But you can see the vegetables like drumstick, domestic, all these things are there in that Ahara Niyamam book. You can get the translation of all the vegetables, and he gives a complete list of vegetables. And there are people who have created websites which with pictures that this is permitted and this is forbidden. This kind of food is also told. This is also mentioned. And why is food given so much importance in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is what they ask. So according to the Chandogyopanishad, the food which we eat gets split into 3 parts is what they say. What it says, the first part goes away in the morning, in the daily things in the morning, it goes away as waste materials in the body. That is the grossest part. The next part, the less grosser part, that forms the bone, the muscle, the blood, and all the 7 elements in the body. And the subtlest part of the food, that becomes the mind. So whatever food we eat directly affects the thoughts which we have in our mind, is what they say, what is told in the Chandogya Upanishad. So we are what we eat. There's a saying in English, I think. So that is what Chandogya Upanishad, that is taken from the Chandogya Upanishad perhaps. And Yamunacharya in his Sri Bhashyam, in the very beginning, he tells about 3 types of doshas in the food. One is Jati dosha, another is Ashraya dosha, and Nimitta dosha, third one. So Jati dosha is certain food by its very nature is impure. It has a dosha, it has defect. Like for example, they say onion, garlic and all are dosha yukta foods. Second is Ashraya. Ashraya means if the food is procured from money which is earned in an unjust means, by adharmic means, if that money is earned and that is used to purchase grains, vegetables, etc., and food is cooked out of that, then it will have ashraya dosha. So the origin of the money which comes, for example, in today's world, it's very difficult. Suppose I am working in a software company and the software which is being produced by me, if it is used in a tobacco factory, then is that money, is that food ashraya dosha yukta or not, is a question to answer. So if for example, if I'm earning money by teaching some mathematics or Sanskrit language or whatever, English or Kannada, whatever languages, something I'm teaching and earning, then that is likely to be less tainted by adharma. But if it is being used for some other injury to some other person, or causing harm to some other person, and that even though I'm only earning, I'm not involved in that particular um, business, but I'm only an employee in that company, then maybe we'll get the dosha, ashraya dosha. So that's the question. It's a kind of dharma jignasa kind of question regarding in the modern world today. Nimitta dosha means food which has nails or like hair or whatever, getting some impurities, getting into that, those kind of things, nimitta dosha. We should not consume food which is having jati dosha, ashraya dosha, and nimitta dosha is what is told by Sri Yamunacharya in the Sri Bhashyam, and also in this Gita Bhashyam also. So Krishna tells about Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa foods, and whereas Vedeshikan, as I said, tells about Satvika and Asatvika. Everything Asatvika is considered as Tamasa. Food is very important as far as Sri Vaishnava is what is told. Next, we come to Pujanam. We talk about three types of tapas. We'll see. There are 6 types of tapas, where I'll tell you about only 3 types of tapas: bodily tapas, and one is body, mind, and body, word, and mind. So that is the thought, word, and deed. 3 types of tapas will come here. So what is in terms of bodily tapas? Bodily austerity means Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam, worship of the gods, gurus, brahmins, and knowledgeable ones. Shaucham is Tirtha Snanadikam, taking bath in the sacred water. Arjavam, Yatha Manaha, Sharira Vrittam means bodily action with the mind being straightforward. Next, Brahmacharyam, Yoshitsu, Yogyata Buddhi, Bhogyata Buddhi, Yukta, Ikshana Rahitatvam means not seeing women as object of pleasure. Next, Ahimsa, Aprani Pida, not hurting other beings. Etat Shariram Tapa Uchete. These are said to be bodily austerity. This is from Ramanuja Bhashya. Directly I have taken it here. That is bodily austerity, which is Sharira Tapas. Sharirika Tapas. Next, Vak Tapas means penance with respect to speech. Speech which does not cause stress to others. Anudvega Karam. Paresham Anudvegakaram. Then Satyam. Satyam is truthful. Priyahitam, pleasing to others. Yadvakyam Swadhyaya Bhyasanancha iti. That leads to good and also involves Vedadhyayana, study of the Vedas. Are they Puranas, Upabrahmanas, like Smriti, everything? Is the form of tapas, tapas of the form of speech. Then what about the mental mind tapas? Manafrasadaha, manasaha, krodhadirahitvatvam, absence of anger. Saumyatvam, manasaha paresham abhyudaya pravanyam means having trained the mind to celebrate others' prosperity. Maunam, manasa vak pravritti niyamanam, controlling the speech by mind. Then atma vinigraha, manovrittehe dhyaya vishaye avasthapanam, focusing the mind on the object of meditation. Bhava samshuddhi, atma vyatirikta vishaya chinta rahitatvam means not worrying about anything other than the Atman. Etat manasam tapaha. This is called manasa tapas. So the top thing tells about Sharira tapas, second thing tells about Vak tapas, and third thing tells about Manasa tapas. Next, then we come to the Om Tat Sat. Towards the end of the chapter, Krishna tells about Om Tat Sat iti nirdeshaha. So I have only told you the meanings here. Bhagavad Ramanuja gives a detailed bhashya in the commentary, and since we have only about 5 more minutes, I have only taken the meanings. By the 3 words Om, Tat, and Sat, Trividha Nirdeshaha, 3 kinds of addressing. Brahmana Karma Smritaha is set for karmas ordained in the Vedas. Tena, along with these words, Brahmanaha, those belonging to the three varnas having Vedadhikara, Vedascha and the Vedas, Yajnascha, Pura Vihitaha, and Yajnas were created long back. Now he tells about Om. This first paragraph tells, the second paragraph here tells about Om. The third one tells about Tat, and the third one tells about Sat. Om Tat Sat. You can see Om Tat Sat iti nirdeshaha. What about Om? For this reason, those belonging to the three Varnas, Vidhanoktaha Karmaha, Vidhanoktaha Yajnadana Tapah Kriyaha. All karmas such as Yajna, Tapas, and Dana and others told by the Vedic injunctions, Om iti udahritya satatam pravartante. Always begin with the pronouncing of Om. So whenever we do a yajna or a tapas or a dana, we have always to begin with Om, is what is told. Next. Then moksha kankshibhi, by those desiring moksha, yajna tapah kriyaha. All the kriyas in the form of yajna and tapas, Vividhaha dana kriyascha, and three types of kriyas of danas, phalam anabhisandhaya, performed without desiring the fruits, tad taditi udahritya kriyante, are told by uttering tat in the beginning. Next, sadbhave sadhubhavecha, in the sense of existence, sadhubhavecha, in the sense of having auspicious quality, the word sat is used in the same way. Hey Arjuna, auspicious karmas, sat shabdaha yujyate. The word sat is used. So Om Tat Sat is used according to what is told in these particular shlokas, and it's actually given in very big detail in the Bhashya, which I have shown only a very small part here. So with this, we come to the end of this particular shloka, chapter 17. Ashastram asuram kritsnam shastriyam gunatah prathak lakshanam shastra siddhasya tridha saptadashoditam. So now we have completed 17 chapters of taking a look at the 17 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita in terms of Geetaartha Sangraha. There is 18th chapter, there is the last chapter, which is a very big chapter. So I would like to take it in 2 sessions, means the half of the chapter in one session and the second half in the other session. And after that, there are 10 more verses in the Geetaartha Sangraha, which give detailed definitions of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and all these things, for which Swami Vedanta Deshikara has given detailed explanations in the Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha. So, in the next 12 sessions, we'll be able to complete the Geetaartha Sangraha, is what I feel. 2 sessions for the 18th chapter and 10 more sessions, 1 shloka each for the remaining 10 shlokas of Geetaartha Sangraha. So if there are any questions and if I am able to answer those questions, then I'll try to see. Otherwise, we can directly go to chanting.
Namaskaram, Swami. Audience Srinath. Just a quick question.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we discussed about Om Tat Sat. Typically, when we take the Sankalpam, Mahasankalpam, we say Hari Om Tat Sat.
Yeah.
Here, there is a Abhipraya Vedam. Some say we should only say Om Tat. But going by the explanation you gave, saying Tat is not a Sat is also not a mistake. So what is your opinion?
I think it is, for us it is, we can say all three together is what I feel, but I'll go through the Bhashya one more time tomorrow and tell you next time. I can give you the explanation. I have just given you a very cursory explanation here. I will go through in detail and maybe tell you next time about Om Tat and Sat a little bit for about 3-4 minutes next time. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we will, shall we close the recording and we'll go to the chanting. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.